A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... He landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
We've been taking a lot of left turns here recently with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series, so why don't we throw some right-hand turns in there as well? Tonight is the 2-mile, 10-turn Sonoma Raceway, and it's all of its glory. The goated Cup Series layout here at Sonoma is what is on tap here tonight for 50 laps, 100 miles for the drivers of Max V. Welcome back here to Turn 200. It's Tommy Cook. It's Matt Williamson hanging out with you here on a Thursday night. Hopefully everybody's having a great day, and hopefully it's about to get a lot better, Matt, as we take in a race that's a track that always proves to be difficult no matter the car that is on it, but some added difficulties here tonight for these truckers.
Yeah, definitely good to be back here at Sonoma, a premier road course here for NASCAR. But going to be tough test for the drivers, and you alluded to it. Lots of changes happened on the Tuesday update. The trucks was one of the big vehicles to have big changes made to it. The drivers have been talking about it all week. Most of them have been talking about what happens with it on the ovals. Haven't really been talked about what happens much here with the road courses. So if you were here on Tuesday, you heard us talk about the Venom Truck Series. Less downforce, more side force. Side force really not going to be an issue here, but less downforce definitely going to play a factor for the drivers here tonight. It is going to be slippery out there. These trucks are going to be loose.
Only have a couple cars out on track, couple minutes to go here, or rather 1 minute to go in qualifying. So why don't we take a look at the point standings heading into round number 17 of the season.
Here are those point standings after last week. Justin Michael, another win. So that is just going to extend that lead for him in the points. He is 71 points ahead of Heath Smith, who sits in second. Scott Patton is now in third, 77 points behind your leader. Andrew Schultz, who has missed the last couple of weeks, he's going to fall down to fourth place, 81 points behind the leader, Justin Michael. Rob Haynes here in fifth. He jumped up into the top five here. Charlie Widener, sixth. Mike Milfelt has fallen to seventh. Greg Mall, eighth. Will Kirk, ninth. And Johnny Hamby rounds out your top 10 here.
Yeah, a missed start 2 weeks ago for Andrew Schultz, and last week came out with a hilariously minimal amount of laps to go to turn his first lap. I think he finished the race over 100 laps down, but that does not do Schultz any favors. He has dropped from second to fourth in the points in the last 2 weeks, but he is looking for a big bounce back here. He is the winner of the only road course race thus far this season at Circuit of the Americas, and he'll be lining up on the outside pole. The driver that will take the pole here tonight is driver number 46, robbed of a victory last week at Gateway. Scott Patton will lead the field to the green flag. Andrew Schultz, the reigning champ, to his outside. Row number 2, the odds-on favorite to win here tonight. He was a winner in ASRL last night. Johnny Hamby will start in third. Riley Tilton has been quick in practice, third fastest in practice, fourth in the starting grid. On row number 3, it is Rob Haynes now in the top 5 in the points, and Matt Montalban will line up in the 6th. Driver making his Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series debut tonight, that is Ty Young in the 94 truck. He will start in 7th, next to Jacob Gibson in 8th. Greg Mall and Heath Smith then will round out your top 10 starters. Matt Sisseler, tonight's thumbnail driver, will line up in 11th. Charlie Widener will round out row number 6. Will Kirk and Chris Sargent on row 7. Wally Terheimer and Ryan McRoberts back in 15th and 16th. Kyle Manos in the 17th spot, the last driver to post a time in qualifying. Mike Milfelt was the runner-up, or rather third-place finisher at Circuit of the Americas, but he has a long way to trek through the field here to repeat a podium. He will start at 18th. Jack Watts and Justin Michael all the way back in 20th. Going to be tough sledding to get win number 7 on the night here, or win number 7 on the season tonight. But he is the man for the job. We'll track his progress throughout the evening. Zachary Groover and Brad Slagle on row number 11. Then it's Kerry Cleaver and Frank Reese. The rest of your starting lineup, 24 drivers. Not bad for a road course, Matt. It's Sonoma. It's hot. The grass is dead. But how hot is it?
Well, we're going to find out here in just a moment. Ooh, it is pretty warm. Not quite as warm as we had it a couple of weeks ago, but it is 119 degrees on the track temperature for here around Sonoma. That is pretty darn slick, especially when you get into some of these tough braking zones. Pretty big wind gusts as well, so that could play a factor here as well in a couple of spots. We got 50 laps around Sonoma here tonight. No fast repairs are going to be able to be used. Drivers are going to get 4 extra sets of tires. Fuel window is probably between laps 25 and 29, somewhere around there, but I would assume that they're going to kind of cut that last run in half. Because there is still a stage break even here on the road courses, and that stage break will come on the completion of lap number 15.
It's we close 2 laps before that caution comes out, so nobody can try and jump the gun. Snaking through the S's here, side by side. Not something you want to do under green, but get your practice in while you're under yellow here. Yeah, 120 degrees for the track temperature. I mean, that's high, don't get me wrong, but not as high as we were expecting. Still, it doesn't change the way this track surface feels. This track surface feels like it is covered in yogurt. It just feels disgusting out there. And less downforce on these trucks just going to make that feeling ever more apparent. Through the hairpin we go. Last season's winner, Ashton Crowder, is not in the field here tonight, so it'll be a new winner at Sonoma. Scott Patton and Andrew Schulte on the front row. We are underway. Schulte from the outside pole might have the preferred positioning as Riley Tilton smacked the wall there out of the first turn. The uphill, Patton rolling around the outside, and now he'll have the preferred positioning here into the uphill section. Hamby into third after the problems there for the 58 of Tilton. Here's a huge run. Schulte sends it and spins Scott Patton. More spinning behind them. Schulte backed up his entry, sent it through the middle of the corner, and Justin Michaels
and Mick Roberts both with huge shots as well.
What a mess. Ty Young has gone for a spin out of that melee as well. Michael is towed back to the pits. His race might be over already. Johnny Hamby from third is in the lead.
Justin Michael hit the wall extremely hard. I think you're right. It might be as good as done there.
What a crazy opening sequence to this race.
I saw issues with Montalban first. I missed what happened with Patton because the spinning behind them happened before they even got to Patton, who was kind of going around already. Oh, Heath Smith just about got into Matt Sisler there around the hairpin.
Well, Patton was taking that curve at the top of the turn pretty conservatively, but whether or not he was going to make it through, Schulte absolutely backed it up and sent it. And would have made it, too, if, Patton wasn't there.
Now Schulte's going to try and work his way through the traffic. Great qualifying is minced now. Oh, and there goes right in front of him. That's Will Kirk off the track.
Kirk off.
Greg Mall gets through as well, so Schulte and Mall up to 8th and 9th.
Right now, it's Hamby leading Tilton, Haynes, Montalban, and Gibson your top 5, Sisler, Smith, Schulte, Mall, and Kirk your top 10. Tilton was closing back in on Hamby for the lead, but that has since spread back out.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look. Now is as good a time as any. Wow, and you're right. Schulte went for a huge slide there. May have ended up over in the dirt, but would have been able to continue, I'm sure. But nonetheless, both him and Patton end up off the racetrack. And then, oh my goodness, the 94 of Ty Young, he's stuck right here in the middle. He gets pounded. There's Mick Roberts. Justin Michael looked like he got shoved off track, and it's almost like he tried to put the power down in the dirt, and it just turned him straight left into the wall. Because he was pointed straight still in the dirt, and then just all of a sudden turned an extremely hard left.
Justin Michael, I don't think is a fan of Sonoma, and not in the way he says he's not a fan of some of these tracks. He had a top 5 run going here last season and crashed out. Actually crashed multiple times in this race last season. And this is right in that similar vein here, so not off to a good start.
Oh, Chris Sargent nearly looped it around into the S's, but is able to hang on to it. Scott Patton's done a nice job trying to rebound here. He's made 3 passes here on just this lap. Has gotten himself up to 11th.
Andrew Schulte just made a pass as well, as Will Kirk is off the track again. He's back on. Schulte's made a pass for 7th. And Greg Mull has made a pass for 8th. So Heath Smith is down 2 spots. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Johnny Hamby's piped in a 2nd consecutive purple lap. So Schulte doing as well as could be expected here Matt Sisler has just had an off track. He'll bring it back on in front of Schulte now.
Riley Tilton still trying to hang there with Hamby. Lost a couple of tenths the last time around.
Tilton seems to be much better in the opening half of the lap here. But as soon as we get to the S's, Hamby takes advantage of this downhill and scoots away.
Wow, Michael Milfelt just completely jumped the turtles through that right-hander, and I think may have had all four wheels off the ground at some point there. He was catching right up to the back of Scott Patton, but that has set him back a little bit. Patton looking to make a move here on the 9 of Kirk.
Greg Mall just had to make a sliding save. That thing was on the verge of out of control. Kyle Manos has just retired. A third purple lap in a row for Johnny Hamby. A 119.3 to Tilton's 119.9.
Pat was able to make that pass. Now Milfelt has reeled Will Kirk back in to get to 11th and is going to do it there. You see the damage to the back of the 155. Somebody got hard into the back of Milfelt here at some point.
I bet I know when it happened.
I can imagine.
The saving grace for Schulte and Patton here is the stage. We're 10.5 laps away from a stage caution coming out. That will get them back into the hunt. Maybe even for a win, but realistically more drive to the podium, unless things get really crazy on the restart.
Scott Patton making another pass. That is on Heath Smith, so Patton up to 9th now. Has about 2.5 seconds to get to Greg Mall in 8th.
Riley Tilton that time faster than Johnny Hamby. He's back to a 2.5 seconds. By the way, Greg Mall earlier said he made a save for the broadcast. We didn't catch it on camera, but I saw it, and I appreciated it, Greg. Keep making saves. We'll get one eventually.
Speaking of people in the chat, Sarah cheering on Riley. Matt Burkhart not able to be here tonight. He said he's traded in the steering wheel for a softball. Coach's hat. A Sisler just about looped it around. Oh, man, Greg Mall had to make a big save back there as well.
Caught that one.
Michelle Kirk, of course, cheering on Will. And good leaf here, as always, as well was Greg Mall.
Schulte's gotten through on Sisler to move up to 6th. Hamby still leading Tilton.
Oh, Schulte! He's trying to save it. He does, unbelievably. That was dirt tracking it around that final S-curve right there.
Yeah, Sisler responds by going out into the grass, or the dead grass. But he got an attaboy over the radio.
Yeah, if you ever want to be shocked, look up what Sonoma looks like in the springtime when it's not summer. It just doesn't look the same. We'll just put it that way.
It looks wrong, but I would love a springtime race here because it looks gorgeous.
It does, but it looks like it belongs in like Scotland or something, not here.
Certainly.
There goes Mike Milfelt through on Heath Smith, so Milfelt back up into the top 10, or I guess into the top 10 for the first time here.
And Milfelt started deep in this pack. Remember, a podium finisher at Circuit of the Americas, but started 18th here after a poor qualifying run, actually from no qualifying run. And he missed Gateway last week as well, so good to see the 155 back out here and getting after it. No battles in the top 10 inside of a second. We do have Charlie Widener closing in on Will Kirk. That'll be for 12th. Jack Watt's not too far behind as Kirk is all but out of shape there, or all but around in the penultimate corner.
That allows Widener to close in quickly. Kirk gonna go wide through the hairpin. Has to make a little bit of a save there. Widener is through.
Yeah, Kirk just trying to keep these rear tires under him now.
And Watt's trying to get through on Kirk. That is the closest battle on the racetrack. Actually, I take that back. Sisler getting through on Greg Mall.
It's actually Maul catching Sisler, I believe, but they were just side by side. That gap closed up in a hurry. I wonder if Sisler had gotten off track.
I'm almost certain Sisler did because it was a couple second gap and Greg Mall was there just all of a sudden, but that has also allowed Scott Patton to close in on these two as well. You can see just how slick those rear tires are for Sisler there through the hairpin. Had to tiptoe it through.
All these drivers are ice skating. Less downforce, hot track surface. And it is making this quite an interesting race already. Great stuff here for the Max V drivers. Maul loses the rear there in the uphill and will give the spot now to Scott Patton. So move Patton up back into the 8th position. Hamby has extended his lead to 2.5 seconds. Over Radley Tilton, Rob Haynes, Matt Montebault, and Jacob Gibson, still the top 5. Yeah, Sisler is gone.
He's back now.
He's back. Okay.
But he was gone for a good few seconds there.
Should I even mention what happened in the warm-up period?
Please don't.
Well,
you've already mentioned it, so we got to tell everybody.
Well,
we had 7 drivers, actually I think 8 drivers, all lose their packets, which means that basically the server kicked them from the session. So the server was having issues earlier. Seems to be okay right now so far.
Have seen some blinking, not just from Sisler, but also from Matt Montembolt in the 5th position as well.
Patton does a nice job getting to the inside, into the hairpin, and completes that pass. So Patton up to 7th. And Andrew Schulte looking for one more to get to the top 5. This is Jacob Gibson in the 19.
Gibson's been pretty sporty on the ovals, and now in the top 5 here on a road course. One-time podium finisher here this season at Las Vegas for truck number 19, but he won't put up a fight here. There goes Schultz up into the top 5 now. Oh, but Gibson, I think he went a little bit deeper than he thought he was going to there, but doesn't make it Schultz's problem.
Lots of traffic here behind them. Kerry Cleaver going a lap down. Others trying to avoid. That's Patton, Sisler, Greg Mall, and Mike Milfelt all trying to get through, and they have cleared.
Mall closing back in on Sisler, who's all but spun out there in the hairpin. Mall has to kind of swing wide, so not able to take advantage yet. But Sisler looking to be a bit hot and bothered there with the 4 Goodyear tires underneath the 93 truck.
Well, Tommy, you hit it on the head. Oh, Greg Mall.
Whoa! Way off. The racing line, that is.
Yeah, he almost came to a complete stop just not to run into the dirt there. So he's going to get passed by Micah Milfelt. So Milfelt now up to 9th, and now Milfelt's the one in chase of Matt Sisler.
Sisler with a huge slide there. The 155 closes right up. Do you think the Y-wing there that the 155 is sporting, first of all, is going to pass Tech? Second of all, you think that gives him a downforce advantage here?
Well, I mean, it wasn't something that the team did. It was in result of contact, so he will pass.
Oh, okay.
But
We'll see.
I don't know if it's really helping him in any way here. But, I mean, coming to a road course. Oh, wow.
Whoa! Yeah, buddy.
Yep.
Got that one in all of its glory.
We sure did.
And he doesn't like right turns. That's bogus. He just made an extra one for fun.
It's one thing to come to a road course the first week after a big change with way less downforce. I mean, it would already be difficult enough to be able to corral these trucks and figure them out as Patton is going to get a good run here on Jacob Gibson. But it's another to not only have the drivers have to deal with that, but also give them an extremely hot track temperature here at Sonoma, of all places, with all of the elevation changes and everything else they have to deal with. I mean, you just add all of that up, and it is just a deadly combination. And everybody's done a really good job. Oh, no! Just as I say that, Milfeld backwards down the chute, trying to get himself J-turned around.
Well, there's style points on the table, I think. Oh, unfortunately, he's got a meatball flag.
I spoke a little too soon. Most of the drivers have done a really great job of being able to make the saves. I mean, they've certainly gotten bent out of shape, but most of them have been able to still keep it on the racetrack. But Milfeld, unfortunately, not able to that time around.
Milfeld did something that I am very shocked has never happened in real life. He ran a little bit wide in that huge runoff turn and clipped the barrier there with the tire coverings. So that is what got him turned around. He was tracking down Matt Sisler quite nicely.
Yeah, he was tracking pretty good here. We're going to take a look at the replay. And he didn't even really, wasn't running wide necessarily because he ran the corner too hard. I don't think he could really see the wall from behind Sisler, and it just caught him a little bit off guard. He was just a little bit too far left.
Are you surprised it's never happened in real life?
I mean, I am, but there's quite a bit of runoff there, so if you feel like you're not going to make it, you can just kind of pull off to the left, I suppose. So that, you kind of have a bailout option.
I would do it. That's why I don't have a ride.
That's why pretty much everybody doesn't have a ride.
Well, Tilton had been making up good ground on Johnny Hamby. He cut it to inside 2 seconds. It got back out to 3. Now it's down to 1.25 seconds. So Tilton is tracking down Hamby here by hook or by crook. And
Schultz is caught up to Montebault. Montebault with a bit of a blink there.
Oh, Will Kirk has just towed back to the pits.
Yeah,
I think his night is over.
Trying to take a replay at that, but I don't want to take our eyes. This is a battle for the first position. Riley Tilton still catching Johnny Hamby. And they're going to be right here together with just 1 lap to go before the stage break.
Yeah, the rears look like they are not wanting to hang underneath the 70 truck right now, and Tilton is looking crisp right now. Oh, can't roll the center there. It might open the door. Down the stretch here, coming to the white flag in the stage. Hamby has led them all after taking the lead when Patton and Schulte got together here on the opening lap.
Tilton had to make a big correction up the hill there, lost a little bit of time.
Oh, but rolls that turn number 6 beautifully there. And maybe looking to swing underneath here, heading into the S's. Hamby gets good drive off.
As long as Tilton can hang, he'll have an opportunity into the hairpin.
Advantage Hamby right now. Oh, but he's loose. Tilton got loose too. Will it be the 58 going for the outbreak here? Oh, he puts the bumper to him.
He could have given it to... Oh, Tilton nearly loops around.
Johnny Hamby going to survive to take the stage win here in Sonoma. Oh, yeah. That's what we're talking about, baby. That's good stuff.
I think tire life is going to play a big role when we get to these even longer runs.
Now, don't forget, Johnny Hamby won the stage at Circuit of the Americas as well, but then lost the lead on the restart in the first turn and couldn't ever really get it back. It was a classic battle with Andrew Schultze, but he doesn't want to have to do that again. He'd like to stay out in front as much as possible here tonight. So well done by Hamby.
Yeah, well, in talking to him last night, he feels like he should have gotten that one, and feels like felt really good coming into this one, but felt like he needed a redemption race here on a road course. And so far, so good, but still quite a ways to go here for the 70 to get it done.
Stage points are for Hamby in first, Tilton in second, Haynes in third, Schultze fourth, Montembolt in fifth, Patton in sixth, Sisler seventh, Gibson, Mall, and Smith, the top 10. Charlie Widener, 11th. Jack Watts is in 12th. Ty Young in 13th. Wally Turheimer, Chris Sargent, your top 15. Then I think it's McRoberts, Schlegel, Milfelt, and Cleaver are the only ones that are left in this race. Though technically Justin Michael hasn't disconnected. He's just sitting in the pits getting repairs done. Still in last place, 24th right now. Brad Schlegel is going to take the lucky dog or the wave around, one of the two. But the 155 is... Oh, he also had damage, so he's staying out to get back on the lead lap as well. So all the lead lap trucks are down pit road. I can't imagine anybody not taking 4 tires here.
Yeah, no, definitely 4 tires are on the table for everybody, I'm sure.
Jack's drop. Haynes out in second. Tilton gets out in third, just barely. Schultze and Patton, your top 5. But how about Rob Haynes up to second now? Sounded like there was some contact between Scott Patton and Matt Montembolt. Actually, they were 3 wide, apparently, at some point on the cool-down lap here.
Well, I gotta say, I certainly missed that one.
As did I.
Let's take a quick look at what happened to Will Kirk. Kirk sideways through the S's. You can see he's loose all the way through here, but still trying to hammer it down. He is able to. Oh, and then into the hairpin. He gets loose under braking and overcorrects it to the left. He hits the outside wall in the hairpin. Such a slow corner. You usually don't see that. Got in there a little too hot, had to get hard on the brakes, and got that truck awful loose.
So officially, retirements from Kyle Manos, Will Kirk, and Zachary Groover. But also Frank Reese has gotten extensive repairs done on pit road, is still there. So is Justin Michael, who has yet to actually complete a lap on track. Rob Haynes came out in second. Very interesting to see how he's going to factor into the mix up front here. Of course, Haynes has 2 wins this season, Las Vegas and Talladega. I'd love to add a left and right to the resume there.
And I'm sure if he gets on the podium, he'll come in here and say, well, I expected to finish dead last here tonight.
Yeah, we've heard that a time or two already. Riley Tilton's still looking for redemption from Charlotte, where he had been basically running in the top 5 all night, really the top 3. He led a ton of laps, ran out of gas on the white flag lap after an overtime finish. Tilton has looked so good at multiple points this season, including at Circuit of the Americas, and looks awfully good again here tonight. Schulte and Patton, after their first lap dust up, now back into the mix here in 4th and 5th. What can they do with some time up front? But Hamby controls them all. He's the ringleader of the circus here at Sonoma. Green flag.
Tilton trying to get through on the outside of Haynes, and does. Tilton to second. And Scott Patton makes up a couple of positions. Patton up to 4th.
Patton moves Schulte back 1 spot. Here's Tilton right back to it on Johnny Hamby for the race lead. Hamby a nice getaway down the chute here. Tilton rolls that turn better into the S's.
That's really one of Hamby's strengths. Seems to be very good through those S's, just about better than anybody. And it gives him a little bit of buffer down into the hairpin turn, which is a place that most drivers look at to make a pass. But Hamby gives himself enough room that he can't really be attacked too much there.
So coming to 31 laps to go. Are you looking to split this last stage in half?
Yeah, I would assume that's most likely what we're looking at. Might see a driver or two go for a lap or two undercut, I'm sure. That is always on the table. But, yeah, I mean, I would guess that we're pretty much going to run another, 15 and 16 or, however you wanted it. Maybe it's 16 and 16. I don't. Lap did we go back? 18?
19.
19. So yeah, should be 16 and 16 for this final if you want to split it directly in half.
Rob Haynes has got company. Here's Patton Schulte, hot on the trail. Chris Sargent and Mike Milfelt have both gone for spins. So is Kerry Cleaver and Brad Slagle. Those were all separate incidents, by the way. Here goes Tilton around the outside in the hairpin. Maybe sent it a bit too deep, but had an opportunity there if Hamby would have slipped up. Hamby looks awfully good still, but, I mean, Tilton hanging right with him.
Well, both Patton and Schulte have gotten through on Rob Haynes pretty early here as well. So I think Tilton and Hamby, if they keep battling, might have some company coming to them.
Even Johnny Hamby, although he's a multi-time bridesmaid here on the road courses, didn't sound overly confident, but he knows he's owed one. So somewhere in that balance, he is, I'm sure, happy to be in the lead right now.
Farther back, pretty good line of drivers here, led by Rob Haynes, Jacob Gibson right behind there in the 19, Matt Sisler, Charlie Widener, and Greg Mall, all a part of this 5-truck battle. This is for a top 5.
Yeah, DRS train behind Rob Haynes right now. And good riddance to DRS, by the way.
And there goes Greg Mall to the inside of Widener, into the hairpin, makes it stick. Mall up to 8th.
Johnny Hamby, purple lap. Personal fastest laps for Tilton, Patton, and Schulte. So Hamby needs to stay on it.
And the track has gotten hotter, by the way, since we started this
Shocker.
race. So up over 120 degrees is the track temperature.
Why am I not surprised?
Shout out Martha Turheimer in the chat. Wally up to 12th. He's gained a few positions here.
I always go out and do laps with the drivers in ghost mode as a spectator, and I was riding behind Wally for quite a bit of my practice today.
Greg Mall definitely has a lot of speed, but being caught up by a couple of these drivers, but got awful loose there as well. When you're right behind somebody, the track is this hot and slick. You got less downforce now than you're used to. It is really difficult to put in good laps when you're right behind another driver and trying to make moves. Oh, Greg Mall decides to just send it to the outside.
Ahead of them, Gibson has gotten through on Rob Haynes. So Haynes slipping backwards here after a great pit stop. I think that's Brad Slagle hanging out with us in the chat. Hello, hello. Tilton marginally faster than Johnny Hamby. Again, he's cut that gap back to inside of a second. Is that Brad Slagle? I don't know if that is Brad Slagle or not. But regardless, thanks for hanging out with us.
Oh, wow, a little bit farther back there. I think that was Kerry Cleaver. He went way wide. I thought he was about to hit that same spot that Milfelt did earlier, but he's able to avoid.
Justin Michael has officially called it a night, so he will be credited with the last place finish. I'm sure this one will go in the drop bucket.
Really close quarters there between Maul, Sisler, and Charlie Widener. Widener just about got a bumper there to the 7. And Brad, I don't blame you. This is a tough one.
So Maul working over Sisler. Haynes and Gibson close together here again. And Tilton again within a couple truck lengths here of Hamby for the race lead. Oh, Jack Watts is off the track in turn 1, but he stays in 11th.
Battle for the top 5 has been awesome. Haynes is not going anywhere. He's trying to fight back and take back that position from Gibson.
Yeah, maybe Haynes just being conservative here for the first few laps of this run, saving the rubber, because he has started to move back forward now.
Looking for a dive. Feeds a bumper.
Gibson
definitely had a
survives
big-
that one.
He definitely had a big run, and Gibson tried to block it, so Haynes said, all right, you're going to block, you're going to taste a little metal.
Fastest driver on the track is Riley Tilton. He's back within just a couple truck lengths. So strong in the opening portion of the lap here. Oh, Hamby way wide.
Oh.
Tilton's got to run.
Hamby should
Hamby.
have the advantage on the inside, and
Whoa!
does. Wow, Tilton really loose.
Yeah, good positioning there. Good defensive positioning for Hamby, knowing he was on the back foot there.
Here comes Rob
Run.
Haynes up the inside in that same spot, but gets loose. Gibson, good drive off. Oh, they're
no!
side by side. Contact.
I don't know how that didn't end in disaster there, but Gibson is struggling for rear grip at this point, it looks like. Haynes has nursed his equipment enough where he shouldn't be, at least for now. Matt Montenbolt has gone around. He will stay in 12th.
Here goes Haynes. Really good drive through the middle of the corner. Gibson's loose. Nearly loops it around. Might lose another couple of spots here. Sisler and Greg Mahler through.
5th to 8th for Gibson there in the final turn of lap number 25. 26 up on the board. And Tilton again within a truck length. Scott Patton, should these two get to battling, is here inside of a second. So is Schulte.
Yeah, Schultz is right there with him as well.
Where have we seen this? Lap 1?
Hopefully
just
for
call
Patton
it-
and Schultz's sake, it ends a little bit differently this time.
Let's call it top 4 nose to tail right now. They basically are.
Nearly equidistant.
Yeah, nearly. Chasing about another 10 or 12
Scott-
laps or so.
I think Scott Patton's
He
flagged out.
might be.
Unbelievable.
Got another 10 laps or so till pit stops. Yeah, I think Patton is gone, which, I mean, he has terrible luck here on Thursday nights. It got good there for a while. He's gotten himself up to 3rd in the points, but yeah, more bad luck. Also, to point out, he was one of those drivers that lagged out of the server under practice as well.
Yeah, and there were a lot of those drivers, so hopefully it's not going to be as widespread here.
Yeah, that sucks. Oh, Flanky.
There's Flinky Roberts.
Yeah, there were 8 of you, Brad. 7 at the same time, and then Patton kind of lagged out on his own about a couple minutes after everybody started coming back in. Kerry Cleaver going to call it a night. Do want to point out, and I'm sure it'll happen as soon as I say it, but Patton is still not out of the session. Still not showing that his... Up, there it is.
I was
Back
going to
of
say,
all.
he's definitely gone. I mean, he just
Usually doesn't take
completely
that long.
disappeared.
Oh, Jacob Gibson is around, and he is backed into the barriers there, into the penultimate corner.
Gets it turned around. Not too much traffic there, so didn't have to really wait too long.
Unfortunately,
Whoa, Greg
he's lost
Maul
another
through the-
3 spots.
To the final corner. Nearly completely sideways across the start-finish line. He is looking to make a pass on Sisler. He has been eyeing this one up for a long time.
Johnny Hamby ran wide through turn number 4. Tilton is closed in, but now Tilton is a bit loose. So he falls back towards Schulte. This is almost what we saw at Circuit of the Americas. Just swap out Tilton for Mike Milfeld. Those 3 ran nose to tail for the better part of the last 10 laps of the race.
I tell you what, entrance onto pit road and then exit of pit road is going to be unbelievably important here. Yeah, I mean, if these drivers stay the way that they are, one of them could leapfrog the other, even if they all come in on the same lap, just based off their entry and exit off of pit road.
Hamby locked him up into the hairpin there and had a really shallow entry. He's lucky he didn't clip one of those tire pylons, which are not destructible here in the sim. They are very much a static object, as Mike Milfelt found out in practice.
Top three, still nose to tail here. Greg Mall still trying to make a move on Matt Sisler.
Yeah. Podium runners separated by 0.4 each. That ain't much. You gotta wonder, even with a wake of dirty air here, if Schulte's hanging back and conserving a little tire here, or if he's thinking about triggering an undercut.
I still got about 6 laps to go, probably, before we're really looking at that halfway mark pit stop.
Technically, pit window to the end is open for anybody that wants to come in and try it right now. Ty Young is down pit road in 14th.
22 laps is just way too long to go on that last run, though. For
Certainly.
the tire's sake.
I would not want to do it, no. White knuckle driving here. Pace has fallen off over 2.5 seconds since the restart.
Here's the onboard shot with Andrew Schulte. See how he's working this wheel, running behind second and first in front of him.
Tilton thought maybe he was going a little bit deep there, but he rolled it perfectly.
Schulte loses a lot of time there through that second set of S's.
Hamby is pushing these front tires so hard through the S's.
Well, that's what's made his...
Oh, wow! That was a
bumper.
huge bump.
That wasn't even on entry. That was through the middle of the corner. Tilton just...
Now, Tilton is rolling the centers very, very well, but, I mean, that was a huge shot. And now here comes Schulte.
Hamby must have gotten loose or something, and Tilton was able to roll really nicely and gave him a nice bump there right in the middle of the corner.
I mean, Hamby's been taking the hairpin a little conservatively, but Tilton's just rolling the center of these turns really, really well right now.
Here comes Jack Watts down pit road. Watts from 9th.
Here comes Tilton to the inside of Hamby for the lead, but nothing going. The bumper is in play once again. Tilton gives some space now to the race leader.
I think Tilton can smell it.
Tilton's about to catch a big whiff here into the hairpin. If he gets a good exit.
Greg Mall has crashed. Greg Mall down to 8th. Try and see if we can get a moment to take a look at that one. But can't take our eyes off this battle for the lead. Tilton underneath through the exit of the hairpin.
Yeah, Hamby not getting through the hairpin very well right now. Oh, and he's super loose there with Tilton to his outside. And Riley Tilton leads for the first time. Hamby nearly clips the pit wall there. He's so loose. And has to back out of it. Schulte will get through to second. It might be pit time.
Hamby might be too fast for his own good, shred the tires a little bit. with his unbelievably quick one-lap times.
We'll get the tires back underneath you here for a couple laps, and don't let these two get too checked out. Riley Tilton in the lead. Schulte now back to second, where he started this race. Did not get to spend very much time there.
Montalbalt down pit road as well. Well, we have just a brief moment. I'd like to see what happens here. Looks like Montalbalt crashed as well. I don't know if they were related. This is Montalbalt. Montalbalt just loops it. Oh, pretty good shot there through the hairpin. And here's the undercut, Tommy.
Schulte and Hamby down pit road.
Gonna give themselves a pretty decent-sized run to the finish. 2 or 3 laps more than they've run here tonight so far.
Hamby closed up a 1.5-second gap up to Schulte there on pit road entry. So a great entry for the 70. And they have both beat the race leader, Riley Tilton, to pit road. Jack is up and dropped for both drivers. They are away. Heath Smith on pit road, but he has been caught speeding. So Smith will have a pass through or a 40-second hold. One of the two. Charlie Widener also on pit road now.
Here's what happens with Greg Mall. And Mall just gets loose. So not any damage there for Greg, but after that wanted to come down pit road as quickly as possible.
Here comes Riley Tilton to answer the call. A one-lap undercut. We'll see if Schulte can take the lead without having to make a pass on track.
I guess is most likely.
But will it hold up? That's the question. Shade falls over the track now. And I'm sure Schulte and Hamby are both hoping that it stays. For now, Schulte has a 1-second advantage over Johnny Hamby.
There's Schulte and Hamby through on Mike Milfelt. Where will Tilton come out?
Jack is dropped, 58's away. There goes Schulte and Hamby. So Tilton back to third with 1 lap fresher tires. And I'll have to work the 155 over as well. That is the lapper, Mike Milfelt.
Lost a good bit of time there. Tilton did.
Yeah, about 2.5 seconds.
Oh, looks like Tilton having some problems getting around Milfelt as well. Thought he'd easily be able to get through there on the inside, but both of them went, whoa! Oh my goodness! Tilton gets wiped out by the 155. Looks like Milfelt might have gotten loose. We've seen that a lot today through that corner.
Oh, he got ultra loose there through that turn. The rear snapped right out from underneath of him. Matt Sisler is in from second. Rob Haynes is the race leader right now. As soon as he put the power down, that thing just got yoinked down from under him.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that through that specific corner multiple times here from anybody, the leaders included.
Well, I don't want to say that's going to take Riley out of this, but that certainly didn't help.
It definitely did not help. The gap up to Johnny Hamby even is over. It's almost 7 seconds now.
Hamby himself in a position that he is tired of being in. Second place.
This is the scenario that he talked about earlier this week. And lo and behold, here we are again.
Now, technically, he's in third right now. Oh, my gosh. That was
narrowly avoided disaster right there.
Well, that'd be one way not to finish second. But technically, he's in third right now as Rob Haynes has yet to come down pit road. And Haynes is down pit road right now.
By the way, for those keeping track, Scott Patton is back out on the racetrack, but is scored in 14th. And he is, I believe, 2 laps down here now.
He's actually 1 lap down.
Really?
I do believe so.
He must have gotten back in quick. That's pretty amazing. Of course,
That-
may have gotten a free pit stop out of that. I'm not really sure how that works, but
I think it would have towed him back to the pits on the lap that he was on. And then he would have had to have come back in pretty quick. They really got a free lap out of it, and yeah, probably a free pit stop as well. Hamby is making up time everywhere except for that hairpin. He is having a heck of a time. Cannot figure out a fast way through the tightest turn in NASCAR, which I can't say that I blame him. It's a tough one. You have to go down from 140 plus to 35 miles an hour. As somebody's spinning, I think it's Matt Montalban.
it is indeed Montalban. That is into the first corner. You don't
Luckily,
see
nobody's coming there.
Don't see a whole lot of single car incidents right there.
No.
I'm trying to find a replay of Millfelt and Hilton getting together.
Well, if it didn't log a spin for Tilton, I mean that wasn't a pass for position, so that'd be a tough one to find.
I'm going to give this one a shot. It's not this. Oh, yep, it sure is.
Nice. That's why you're paid the big bucks.
I want to watch this all the way back to this corner as well. I thought Tilton was going to send it to the inside of Millfelt, but ends up not getting the opportunity to. Both of them kind of go wide, which allows Tilton to get a big run down into the hairpin, a big dive, but makes it work. And then, oh, man, Millfelt was almost able to save it and turn back to the left before making contact with a 58, but just barely clipped him. He tried his darndest to get that thing turned back to the left. It was just a touch too late.
And he was quick to apologize over the radio as well. That gap has not closed up to Johnny Hamby, and he's still 7 seconds behind. We had another spin for Matt Montebaldi, still in 10th. And Greg Mall being hounded by Charlie Widener. They both went off track in the same corner and brought it back on without any further issue. But they're getting ready to battle for 6th. Andrew Schultz continues to pull away from Johnny Hamby, who is nearly back to 3 seconds behind the race leader.
Not many battles on the track. Really, almost not any close battles for position on the track right now.
Mike Millfelt going to call it a night. Not the road course follow-up to Coda he was looking for. Tilton is sort of starting to catch not only Johnny Hamby, but also Andrew Schultz. He's about half a second quicker than the race leader right now. Not a surprise. Oh, Matt Monsenbald has gone around and almost takes out Riley Tilton with him. That was close.
And Ty Young gets through on Montalbot to get to 10th as a result. Oh, wow, Montalbot still, I mean, he was just trying to barely get slowed down here around that right-hander and was already getting loose again. So those tires really hurting. Terheimer's going to get through as well to 11th.
Johnny Hamby continues to fade to the race leader. He's down 0.6 on this lap already as they head to the stripe. Oh, Scott Patton has just hit a barrier really hard through the S's. It looked to be really hard anyway. Maybe it wasn't. I don't see any damage on the truck. Regardless, Chris Surgeon has gone around in the hairpin now. Sonoma fighting back all of a sudden, as if it needed to.
It's been fighting all night.
Yeah. Just decided laps 38 to 40. You know what? Screw you guys. But it's not taking Schultz or Hamby right now. They continue to be 1-2. Tilton in third. Started to back off the pace that he was on. Fastest driver last time by was Greg Mall, back in 6th. And he is pulled away from Charlie Widener, so that battle for 6th never really started.
With that incident for Chris Surgeon, Scott Patton is going to move up to 13th.
10 to go at the line. And it doesn't look like there's anybody within a second. Just as soon as I said Greg Mullen pulled away from Charlie Widener, though, Widener is caught back up to the 7. So that gap closed up rather quickly.
Lamal's been really loose through the S's all night. I think lost a little bit of time there. He's going to maybe lose some time right there as well up the hill. Lamal is, he's really using up their rears here tonight, that's for sure.
Fastest driver by 0.8 last time around was Rob Haynes in 4th.
Maybe Haynes saving quite a bit here.
Oh, wow. Maul almost overcorrected into the tire covering there. Yeah, Maul looking very, very loose.
Rob Haynes came in a couple laps later than all of your other leaders as well. So a little bit fresher tires, but does have a pretty large gap to get up to even third in Riley Tilton. I think it's about 10 seconds right now.
With 10 laps to go, not impossible. One thing is for sure, Johnny Hamby's got to start turning some quicker laps here. Schultz has been faster for, I'd say all, but maybe a couple of the last 10 laps after taking the lead. Schultz, Hamby, Tilton, Haynes, Sicily, your top 5, Maul, Widener, Watts, Smith, and Ty Young in his debut with Max V tonight running in 10th. And there's really not many other people running. We had 24 drivers start this race. Wally Terheimer's in 11th, Matt Montenbalt's in 12th, Scott Patton is in 13th, Chris Sargent and Ryan McRoberts are the only drivers that are left in this race. Widener and Maul drawing nearer together once again. Maul continues to try and hang on to this truck. These two are the closest to forward position on track as Maul is off the track. And there goes Widener through. Maul looking to fight back, though. Good Lord, that 7 looks like a handful.
It's pretty much looked the same all night.
Yeah, it looks like a handful.
I don't think at any point it's looked any
Whoa! Oh my God. Well, Johnny Hamby's fallen 5.5 seconds back of the race leader, and now Riley Tilton is only 5.5 seconds back of Johnny Hamby.
But laps are ticking away.
Yeah. At least at Circuit of the Americas, it was close. Hamby could have had the lead on multiple occasions there on the final lap. I don't know if this one will sting worse or better. Because of the distance.
I think it's when you've been this far back for a little while, I think it's a little bit easier to kind of accept the fate, I guess you could say, rather than being right up on the leader and just barely missing out on it.
The people have spoken in the chat. They want a shot of Wally Turheimer here headed through the S's.
Don't you worry. I'm already on it.
All right. He's riding back in 11th. Math Montemald is closing slowly. Might have a go for 11th here eventually, but Turheimer 9 seconds back of Tai Young in the top 10. But to finish one of these road course races is a feat in itself. Obviously, since 9 people are going to DNF tonight at least.
Yeah, that's just the thing. Wally has, I mean, look at the truck. It looks incredibly clean compared to some of these others. And just by proxy, others have gotten into big incidents. Wally's kept it clean. He's moved up the leaderboard.
A lap ahead of him, but just behind him is going to be the battle for 6th once again. Maul and Widener still right there together. So they'll approach the 75 here pretty quick. Hamby is having some serious pace issues right now. He's just ran a 123 to Schultz's 120 and Tilton's 121.
Yeah, if he keeps that up, Tilton is going to catch him here.
Up over the 1 hour mark, by the way, is, Matt Montemald just went for a slide. And that's going to allow Scott Patton to close in. We're going to have a battle for 12th here. But Maul's got to run now into the hairpin. Can he make something stick? Breaks a lot earlier.
Yeah, very conservative.
Whoa.
And Widener's wide. Sends it way too deep.
No banking in that turn to run the outside or have any advantage there. Whoa! My gosh!
Maul nearly snapped himself into the outside wall.
And those tires are still hot here, headed into some of the more temperature-sensitive parts of the track. Good Lord. Oh, yeah, Johnny Hamby has been caught. Riley Tilton is here now for second.
And you mentioned Patton and Montembault. Patton got through pretty easily. He's already a second past Montembault in the 21.
Well, it may not still be a second-place finish for Johnny Hamby because Tilton is looking to dispose of the 70 pretty quick here.
Oh, and Hamby really loose there through the hairpin. He struggled there all night.
Montalbald has gone for a spin once again and has lost the 13th spot to Chris Sargent. Jack Watts ahead of this battle here for second.
Drivers keeping the gearbox in the higher gears so they don't spin the tires. Trying to put the power down on the exit of these turns.
Oh, Watts is
Widener,
loose.
side-by-side contact.
Watts just had to make a save right in front of Johnny Hamby, and that has allowed the 58 right to get right up to the tailgate once again.
And Widener ends up getting in front of Maul as a result of that contact.
And Scott Patton has passed Wally Turheimer for 11th. So when passes happen, all of a sudden, they have to happen in threes. Here's Tilton again.
Pretty good run. He's dove into this turn before. Brakes pretty early this time. Didn't want to send it too hard. Oh,
Whoa.
Hamby really loose. Tilton,
Yep,
good
there goes
drive.
Tilton. Tilton third to second. Hamby led a lot of laps here tonight, but might have to settle for a third place. He can't find anything in these tires to get back up to second. 13 seconds ahead of them is Andrew Schultz, who is taking the Illinois green. 2 laps to go for the race leader.
Hamby has not let Tilton get away here.
Oh, super loose there. Maybe all she wrote for Johnny Hamby's second place aspirations today. He's got a lap and a half to mount an offensive. And as soon as Tilton got in second here, he started eating back into that gap. You got to wonder if he didn't have the contact there with Mike Milfeld, could he have actually made something happen for the lead? Or if he wasn't the one getting the undercut triggered on. A lot of ifs, though. The bottom line is that Andrew Schulte is looking mighty fine at this point, taking the white flag.
And Schulte can take this lap extremely easy here. Doesn't need to push anything. 13-second advantage over Tilton in second.
No battles right now for position here on the final lap. Schulte got one win en route to his championship last season. It came in the season finale. Opened up this season with 3 of the first 6 races. Ended up in the W column, but has cooled off quite a bit since then. So lost the points lead. Really has missed 2 of the last 3 races. He was kind of there last week, but he's certainly back tonight. There's no doubt about it. And not just back. He is, oh, Lord. He's making me nervous is what he is. But Andrew Schultz drifting his way to victory here at Sonoma. SVG ain't got nothing. Look at this. Riley Tilton going to take a career best second place here tonight with Max V. Well done to him. And Johnny Hamby. It's another podium here on a road course. The second place streak is over. The podium streak is still alive, but I'm sure a disappointed driver behind the wheel of truck number 70. Rob Haynes, a top 5. Matt Sisler going to keep his top 5 streak alive, and an impressive one at that. He takes 5th here. And after all that battling, Charlie Widener has almost 8 seconds back to Greg Mall. They finished 6th and 7th.
I don't know if Mall maybe got some damage off the contact or something, but fell back pretty quickly there after the contact with Widener.
Burnouts are still on the menu here for Andrew Schultz. Whoops. He'll get some bumping from Hamby.
Oh, we're just going to drive it backwards. Why not? Oh, there's the J turn. Sort of. Boy, he is enjoying this one. Has missed the last couple of weeks nearly in their entirety, but statement win here tonight after being pretty darn far back after the first lap. Still able to get it done.
The spin and the win for Schultz, who does the drift cool down lap. Ain't nothing cool down on that truck here. The driver's fired up. We'll talk to him as a race winner for the 4th time this season momentarily. Riley Tilton in 2nd, Johnny Hamby in 3rd. We'll talk to those gentlemen as well. Rob Haynes 4th, Matt Sisler in 5th, Charlie Widener and Greg Mall, your 7 lead lap finishers. Jack Watson 8th, Heath Smith in 9th, Ty Young in 10th, Scott Patton in 11th, Wally Turheimer, Chris Sargent, Matt Bonsabolt, and Ryan McRoberts, the 15 drivers that are going to finish this race. DNFs from here on out. Mike Milfeld in 16th, Jacob Gibson in 17th, Kerry Cleaver in 18th, Brad Slagle, Will Kirk, your top 20, Zachary Groover in 21st, Frank Reese in 22nd, Kyle Manos, and Justin Michael, the 24 drivers that attempted tonight's race. We will pull in Johnny Hamby. It is back-to-back interviews here in booth 200 for Hamby, winner with ASRL last night. 3rd place here tonight. Congrats on the podium. I'm sure this is probably not what you were looking for coming into tonight, though.
No, we were just talking about it in the waiting room. I don't know how they were saving tires like that. I thought, and Andrew said the same thing. He thought I was saving probably more than he was, but once he passed me, like I had nothing, and Riley ran me down. I think he had an incident. Great run by him too, by the way. Absolutely amazing. It was fun racing him. He had many chances and really raced me clean. So I had no problem finishing 3rd from behind those guys. But I don't know how they saved that much because I really didn't think I was wearing them out, and apparently I was. Maybe it's this new truck package, but damn. And I'm sweating my ass off, by the way.
I believe that. I mean, we try our best to try and relay the track conditions, but there's to the viewers, but there's no better person to hear it from than somebody that's out there trying to slog through it. I mean, try and describe what it is, what it feels like trying to wrestle this truck around a hot, slick Sonoma.
Well, Sonoma itself is tough enough, and we had 115-degree track temps, which is it's high, it's not crazy. We've run higher, but this new truck package with this lower downforce, man, I was doing a lot of things to try to save those rears. I ran first time in a long time. I ran my brake bias up instead of back, trying to save the rears, and did not shift. We were just saying the same thing in the waiting room. I didn't shift down to first at all. Barely got into second in a couple of turns. Otherwise, we were in third gear most of the time to keep these things from stepping out so bad. It was insane. But I still felt like I was saving them, and apparently I wasn't. So, but I tell you what, I got the stage win and third place. It was a really good points night, and I'll take that. But I ain't gonna lie, I really wanted to win.
Matt, what do you got?
Well, you said it. Still a great night for you here overall with that stage win, getting third. Not a bad night at all. You mentioned, and I noticed this too when we were in the in-car cameras throughout the night, that you were in the higher gears through the exits of the corners. How difficult is it to go from what you're used to? And it feels like you have to be really patient to not burn your stuff up here. Running those higher gears through these corners. It would be hard for me as a driver to remember to stay patient through those.
You know what? You probably need to ask Andrew and Riley that, because they did a better job than I did. I mean, I seriously, y'all, I thought I was taking it easy, man. I really thought I was setting up for a good finish. Andrew passed me, and I had nothing, and I had no clue. I mean, I'm gonna really have to go back to the drawing board as far as the next road course, because this was, and come on, you got to hand it off to a Schulte who shows up and runs one freaking lap of practice, qualifies second, wrecks, and still wins. I want to hate him, but I just can't, right? Because he's a nice guy. He's a cool. We hang out a lot in other leagues and but God, jeez. He does it every week. He barely shows up for practice, and then at the end of the race, he's there. I mean, like a freaking Harvick every week. And God, hats off to him. Hats off.
You need more weeks from him, like last week, where he decided to go start the race 100 laps down and then come out.
It's my only shot, isn't it?
Well, we'll see how that goes for you in the future. But regardless, it's a podium for you here tonight. Congrats on a third place. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out?
I'll tell you what, I want to shout out to Scott Patton. That was an impressive freaking lap he laid down in qualifying. I thought my night was made when Schulte got into him and those guys had an issue. He and I gave him a little bit of, a little lesson there, but it's been months ago, but never again, because apparently the man's got it. Shout out to Andrew for fighting his way back and knowing how to freaking save tires in this truck. And I want to shout out to Riley, because I did not expect that from him. I mean, he ran me with a ton of respect. I kind of noticed on ovals he can be pretty aggressive, but he was a lot of fun to race with tonight. He could have done, he got into my bumper a couple of times, but it was a little bit of me, locking him up or whatever. But he ran a great race, deserves at least second. And that's my shout outs for tonight. You guys for doing a great job. I can't wait to watch it.
All righty, partner. Go rest up. Go celebrate. We'll talk to you again.
God, I need it. I'm sweating like hell.
Yeah. I believe you. All right, have a good one.
See y'all.
We'll bring in your long-awaited podium finisher here. Second place tonight for Riley Tilton. Welcome to Booth 200. Congrats on a fantastic run here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. I had a lot of fun tonight. Kind of wish I would have gotten spun out there. I probably would have had something there for Schulte, but other than that, I had good points tonight. Had fun.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were saying as well. There were multiple points in that run, even after the pit stop right there, where you were way faster than Schulte and Johnny Hamby as well. The spin happened. That pace never fell off. I mean, you had great pace here tonight. There was no question about it.
Yeah, once I got spun out by Michael, it kind of cooked the right rear a little bit, but it was just all about cooling him off and saving what I had. But I'm not sure why he wanted to spin me out like that. I'm sure he's probably pissed at me from Charlotte, but whatever. Good night.
Well, I mean, you take the lead there. Were you expecting the undercut to happen right as you took the lead there?
Well, once I got to the lead, I was kind of hoping they weren't gonna like boot me out of the lead there and catch up to me. But I guess I had saved just enough tire to pull away from them. But I don't know. Still had fun.
Matt, what do you got for Riley?
Yeah, I mean, congrats on a great run here tonight. We've talked a lot about the changes with the truck, the less downforce here, but playing a big role here at the road course. I mean, how are you feeling coming into tonight on the road course? Obviously had a lot of speed, but were you maybe a little bit nervous or a little tentative after the changes to the truck, or did you think it actually helped you out here tonight?
With the changes to the truck, I actually was doing practice earlier today. I was doing it for like 3 hours, and I couldn't even make 5 damn laps without spinning out. But I don't know how I wasn't getting spun out tonight. But I'll take a P2.
Absolutely. Great podium run here tonight. Who do you want to shout out? Who do you want to say hi to?
I want to say thanks to my parents. They've supported me to help me get through this, but unfortunately, it hasn't been a good year as far as the series wise and personal life, because unfortunately my dad had passed away New Year's Eve, so that kind of had an effect on it. But also a big shout out to public supermarkets. If I wasn't working at all, I probably wouldn't be in here right now. And thanks to my girlfriend as well. She's always throwing in these comments in the chat, and I have fun watching it back and listening.
Well, we appreciate her hanging out, and we appreciate you driving on track. It's only been a matter of time before we got you in here after one of these races. Keep up the great work. We'll talk to you again here very soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
And now we'll drag in Andrew Schulte as a race winner once again. It's been a while, but it's win number 4 on the season for the reigning series champ. Welcome back to Booth 200.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so we kind of expect this sort of thing, but maybe didn't expect it as much after the opening lap that you had here. Talk us through not only the incident, but also the recovery.
Yeah, first and foremost, and I can't say it enough times, I'm sorry to Scott on that. That was such a rookie move to even try doing an over-under there, and especially on lap 1. Scott's real fast here, and well, at road courses in general. And that was not my intention at all to do that, and I hate that I ruined the beginning half of his race. I know he kind of recovered with that stage break, and when he got back to me, I was just gonna, you go on by, buddy. You're better and faster, and I just feel terrible about that. The recovery, we started making our way back up through the field, and I think we got back up to 5th by the end of the stage. And then from there was just seeing what we could do, manage our stuff, keep the rear tires on it, and then once Johnny and Riley started battling, it allowed me and Scott to get right into the mix, and then Scott blinked out. I really think it would have been tough to beat Scott. It looked like he had some wheel damage, I think too, from that. So he was fast even with that. We won. Not granted the way that I would have hoped, really, after starting out like that, but guess we can't complain too much.
I mean, when you're kind of lagging back there in 3rd before the green flag pit stop. Johnny has his problems. Riley gets through. You guys both trigger that undercut there. And Riley had great pace there. I don't know if you were keeping an eye on the relative, but he got tangled up there in lap traffic there right after the pit stop. But that gap was closing pretty steadily. But Johnny faded away there as well. Were you kind of surprised that you didn't have your hands more full in the closing stretch of the race there?
I was. So right when the undercut happened, so I was planning an undercut regardless of who was in the lead there. And the second Riley got out front, it's like, okay, now's the time to go, because he had gapped us by half a second to a second. So he wasn't going to be able to react to any move that I made to pit road. And we were close enough to the finish to where the run wasn't going to be all that long. I'd been thinking about it for at least 5 or 6 laps because we were good on fuel. It was all just on how long I wanted to run on those tires. And also at the same time, right when Riley had gotten the lead, we were catching up on lap traffic too. So I knew, like, okay, if we stay out, we might get tangled up, or not get tangled up, but just slowed down a little bit by that. So I figured that was the best time to do it. And then we had pretty much clear track. Johnny came out right behind me, and I was just, I mean, honestly, I was just riding. I didn't really do anything special. I thought my lap times were a little bit slow, to be honest, because I thought I was being a little too careful. So I was just kind of waiting for when Johnny was going to start closing the gap there. And I was kind of trying to keep an eye on Riley too. And he was hovering about 8 seconds behind. And I was expecting a push from something there. But yeah, I saw Johnny started fading off, and they had a good little battle between them. But yeah, I don't, second half of the race, not too much to say, I guess.
Matt, what do you got for the race winner?
Well, congrats on the race win. I mean, you joined us late last week and missed the week before that. I think you're being a little humble here after having to drive your way through the field. I mean, this is a pretty big statement win for you. Justin Michael ends up finishing last here tonight, unfortunately, after the first lap, or I don't know if it was the first lap incident for him, but somewhere right there in the beginning. I mean, this one's got to feel good to get you back in the winner's circle after kind of a couple weeks off almost, and make it a big one here.
Yeah, like I said, it's obviously winning here is a big deal. But just that I get in my head too much, and that incident on lap 1 still kind of dampers all this, because I should be better than to make dumb mistakes like that, and I did. So yeah, it's good to finish first, but again, want to apologize to Scott on that, because that's last thing I want to do is ruin someone's race, especially that early on.
Well, you get the gold here tonight. Let's get some shout-outs for you.
Well, shout out to Scott Patton, Patented Paints, for the paint job. Bandit teammates. Always love running with them, especially when I don't take them out on lap 1. Shout out to I mean, Riley and Johnny. They were going to keep me honest there. If we had all stayed together, I don't. It would have been a really well, and Scott there too. If he didn't blink out, that would have been a really good race between us 4. Shout out to the Turn 200 crew. Shout out to Kerry. I'm blanking on the name, but appreciate him and his wife sponsoring the league for us this year. And my wife and kids, as always.
Absolutely, partner. Go celebrate a win, and we'll talk to you again here soon.
Thanks, sir.
Andrew Schulte with the win. I think he's a little bit hard on himself there. I understand the contact there on the opening lap, but I mean, that's just close quarters racing here. Patton went a little wide. He had a big run. That'll happen. But regardless, Schulte is the winner. Maybe it was going to be the favorite coming into tonight. It would be him or Johnny Hamby. I agree with him, though. I would have loved to have seen, if the blink out didn't happen, how Scott Patton would have factored into the mix here.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. We didn't really talk about it too much when Patton came back and here towards the end of the race, but I mean, obviously Patton was ahead of Schulte there, and yeah, that would have been one heck of a battle to see those two try and get through Hamby and Tilton and maybe battle with each other as well. So unfortunately, you and I and all the good folks out there missed out on that one, but it was still a great recovery here for Schulte after the one mistake. I want to make that clear. One mistake on the first lap, but everything else was gravy from there. So it was still a great race. Shout out to everybody that was here with us. Martha Turheimer cheering on Wally. Unfortunately, Brad Slagle was here much earlier than he would have hoped. Flinky Roberts was in the chat as well as Sarah cheering on Riley. A great finish for Riley here. Matt Burkhart, Michelle Mel Kirk, Greg Mall, and Miss Goodleaf. As always, thank you guys for tuning in, chatting with us, and anybody else that was here watching, not in the chat, we appreciate you as well. If you're not already, please think about subscribing. It's free. I don't know. I think we may have some newer folks with all of the new Venom folks here, but most of you that are here on Thursdays probably already subscribed. So thank you to you guys, and we will see you on down the road.
Absolutely. Still planning on currently having an all-star race on Saturday nights at 7:30 Eastern Time. That will be the Turn 200 All-Star Race, the DW12s at Auto Club. Then it'll be Tuesday evening. The next time we'll be back on air after that with the Venom Truck Series from Charlotte Motor Speedway. That is the Oval. Wednesday night, the ASRL Sports Car Championship is at Mount Panorama. That is Bathurst, Mount Panorama, 7:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 Eastern Time on Wednesday nights for their penultimate rounds of their championship. And then we'll be back here next Thursday, short track race, and once again at Iowa. Iowa Speedway, always a blast here with the trucks, especially low downforce package. That'll be the first true test for these Max V drivers on the ovals. So that'll be the next time we're back in action here around 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time next Thursday night. And again, like Matt said, hit subscribe on your way out of the stream here tonight if you haven't already. And we'll catch you on down the road here. Thank you to Deb and Carrie with Max V CNC Home, or with CNC Home Designs, for sponsoring the Max V Truck Series. And thank you to the Max V admin team here tonight as well. And thank you to everybody with Max V. Shout out to James Lehman. And we'll see you back here in just a couple days' time for everybody with Max V. For the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson, I'm Tommy Cook, saying until we meet again, so long from Sonoma Raceway, where Andrew Schulte is back on top here tonight with his 4th victory of the season. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.